Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
I try to join the X-Men, but I think they're maybe racist. Just because I'm human, they don't want my help. It seems it doesn't really matter if your superpowers fire to the belt. I tried to join the Justice League, but Batman was a douche to me. And Black Canary wouldn't tell me hi. And Plastic Man just threw a middle finger that was 30 stories high. I got a message from the great Avengers. They offered me a membership.
All right, this is And Now Comics. It's me and the Double Johns. I'm Lou Gonzalez, and we just want to get the robot in here because we were already talking about the Marvels podcast.
I like that you say the Double Johns because I saw that earlier today, and I just immediately thought of Thompson and Thompson from
from Tintin.
From Tintin, just two interchangeable people with the same name.
No, it's
Hello.
I don't know why, but I always think of Dick Sargent, Dick York, even though that show was off the air 15 years before I was born, maybe 20.
Like the I Dream of Jeannie guy?
Yeah, because they switched the husband in halfway through the show.
They did.
Yeah, because it's Dick York is the first two seasons, and then it's Dick Sargent. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Am I thinking of I Dream of Jeannie, or am I thinking of Bewitched?
I think
they're
which
very
are
interchangeable.
Yeah.
Why isn't Eric on this show? We're talking about podcasts or sitcoms from his era.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you say that because I remember watching
Bewitched.
a lot of
it was Bewitched.
because I had cable growing up, and a lot of Nick at Night was filled with Bewitched and Night Dream of Jeannie and a lot
Gilligan's
of
Island.
Green Anchors. So I like Bewitched and I like I Dream of Jeannie because and the Munsters because they were all kind of
fun.
Also it was magic or goofy horror. So I like those, but we're thinking
what
of
was your
Bewitched.
thoughts on? What was your thoughts on Mockingbird Lane when that came out? The Munsters reboot. It's the Munsters reboot with Jerry O'Connell.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they do a movie in the 90s?
Well, no, not that I'm aware of. I know Mockingbird Lane was a pilot that directed by Bryan Singer of all things,
Oof.
and developed by Brian Fuller, the guy who did Hannibal.
Oh,
it was
that's an interesting combo.
It was a Munsters reboot with Jerry O'Connell as Herman, Portia de Rossi as Lily, and Eddie Izzard as Grandpa.
When was this? Because that's weird.
Was 2012, and it was only aired once.
I do not remember this at all. Well, no, I remember Mockingbird Lane. I don't remember it being a Munsters reboot.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Munsters reboot.
This is some lost media here.
Jerry O'Connell is not even... I'm finding pictures. He's not even in... they just look like people, except for...
Yeah, I think that's the point.
I'm very confused by this.
I love how I'm just blowing everyone's mind right now. I'm wait, I thought everyone knew about this. Oh, I guess not?
Yeah, everyone just looks like people. The goof of okay, so was this kind of
the only person that's in any sort of costume is Eddie
It was
Izzard?
the dark, sexy, gritty reimagining of the Munsters.
Is this a CW reimagining of the Munsters
It was actually NBC.
See,
it's NBC. But what I'm saying is a CW-esque version of these characters.
Oh, you mean a Riverdale version?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the plot description or the character description. He's a man made from parts of other people. Unlike Herman in the original series, Herman looks human except for some very obvious scars in keeping with many modern-day interpretations of the Frankenstein monster. So he's made from other parts. He just doesn't look like it because they're going with a more modern take on the Frankenstein monster.
Also, they can save on the budget by not putting him in any makeup.
Which I was going to that's coded as hey, we don't have to spend money on it's oh yeah, we got Jerry O'Connell's head on a homunculus body.
So I just want to say Eddie Izzard went from this pilot to doing the Powers Sony PlayStation only TV show.
Oh, that show sucks.
It's such a bad interpretation of that show, of a book that I really dig.
And it sucks because I like the guy that got to play the main character. I like Charlton Copley.
But he's not that character, at all. He's 120 pounds, not that character.
Oh,
It's not even his build. It's just like he's not that character. Period.
Period.
Like,
well, that character is supposed to basically be like a giant buff dude, like Superman-y like character. Like he's like none of the characters are. I'd say like the side characters are pretty good. Like I think the person that plays Retro Girl, the one that plays Callista is fine, and Zora. But then everybody else is so insanely miscast.
okay, sorry. Going back to Mockingbird Lane, but like the joke about the monsters is that it's like, oh, it's a family of like
the Universal
monsters. But like the daughter is like the 50s era, like
well, she's their niece.
Their niece. Yeah. It's like she's like the one who's like considered like conventionally beautiful. She's like a regular 50s gal. But it's like when you have like a show where everyone looks human, like what sets her apart from everyone else? Like it's nothing.
So so you know how they have Eddie as the werewolf in the original show?
The vampire.
Yeah.
No,
the son.
The son.
No, the son is the vampire.
No, the son is
the Dracula.
No, yeah, you said vampire. Eddie, the son, is a werewolf. Grandpa's a vampire. Grandpa and the mom are vampires.
So the reason why they're in Mockingbird Lane is because I guess he attacks his Boy Scout troop in werewolf form, but he doesn't know he's a werewolf yet.
I'm looking at the wiki. The thing for the niece is so weird. So she is normal, and then her backstory, she has a dark secret. Her mother tried to eat her, but Grandpa talked her out of it. This is like we went into a weird rabbit hole of talking about a pilot that never happened.
I mean,
this is a pilot. Yeah, this is a pilot that did actually happen.
Well, the pilot. I mean, the show didn't happen. Oh,
yeah,
I found a great picture of.
Which
Jerry
is the
O'Connell.
thing. I just found the entire thing on Vimeo. So if anyone wants to watch it, I have the link.
Wow. That's fucking wild. Literally, you talking about Mockingbird Lane is like opening up a door to a memory I completely forgot about.
See, I'm so happy that I thought people knew about this special. I kind
of like looking at this. I kind of dig what they did with Eddie Izzard. Like it looks interesting, but like the rest of it looks so goofy. And like
I'm mind blown by the Brian Fuller Brian Singer combo.
Double Brians. It's all about getting those. It's like D&D.
It's like the yin and yang. One's good, one's bad. I'll let you do that.
Oh my god. Like the images from this pilot are just like so bad.
There's a podcast out there. It's called Cancel Too Soon. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It talks about shows. It's like
the TV version of Best Movies Never Made.
Yeah, it's basically they talk about shows that got canceled after one season or less. And they talked about this pilot. There's a really good episode where they talk about this pilot.
That's like right up my alley because like one, they probably talk about half of their shows are probably like sci-fi.
The only problem is they used to they added a bunch of separate podcasts since then. They kept it all in one feed, so it's really annoying to find like where the episodes of Canceled Too Soon are.
You say that, but that's literally what we do.
Well, that's true. So fair enough. So oops.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want a good podcast, I recommend Cancel Tune. If you want something like that,
is it called Shows Canceled? No, wait, that's
it's under Critically Acclaimed Network.
Okay, I think they're not on Spotify.
Oh, that's weird. Are they on Apple, or do you have an Apple? Or they're on Apple. Well, welcome to the show. We're talking about nothing because it's still quarantine. We have a movie planned.
Okay, I get what you mean. It's that show is within the podcast Critically Acclaimed Network.
Yes.
Okay.
At some point, do they ever talk about Puchinsky?
That's actually one of their first episodes.
Yeah, because that show is fucking wild.
Actually, I think that might be their very first...
I don't even know what you're talking
about.
Wait, you've never heard of Puchinsky?
No.
Oh my god.
I'm just getting my mind blown by these pictures of this show.
Okay.
So Puchinsky is like a 1990s like pilot that like never like went to full series, starring Peter Boyle as like a police detective. Like Peter Boyle from like Everyone Loves Raymond, Young Frankenstein. And so he plays a cop, and at some point in the show he ends up becoming the partner of like some guy who like just joins the station, and a bunch of shit happens, and then Puchinsky saves the life of this bulldog and gets shot and dies. And
oh my god! I'm seeing
And while, like, as he's dying, he looks into the eyes of this bulldog, and the bulldog looks in the eyes of Puchinsky, and they body swap. So the show is Peter Boyle in the body of a bulldog.
The worst animatronic bulldog I have ever seen based on these pictures.
Yeah, trying to solve the crime of his murder while also being a detective with this other guy.
So it's like Ghost Dad, but with a bulldog and no Bill Cosby?
It's like Child's Play, but instead of a serial killer putting his body into a doll, it's a horny cop putting his body into a bulldog.
We're going down this weird rabbit hole of weird pilots that like somehow existed.
Yeah, I learned about Puchinsky from Cinema Snob, like a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I learned about Puchinsky from Cancel Too Soon.
Yeah. But yeah, this is
this is what happens when you're trapped in a house and you don't talk to people for a long periods of time.
You just look up weird ass pilots.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is and now pilots that didn't come to full air. I'm John Seiler.
Oh my god.
I'm John Scott. Welcome to this new podcast of the podcast.
Yeah.
God, like let's add some of these pilots to like our watch list of movies.
Actually, can we?
That's what we kind of were doing with the Smallville stuff because we watched that Justice League in '90s.
No, let's absolutely do like commentary tracks with these insane pilots.
If you can find them, that is fine. I do know a lot of that stuff lives on Vimeo because that's where we found that Justice League movie pilot, which is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen.
The whole Puchinsky's on YouTube, and Mockingbird Lane is on Vimeo.
Mockingbird Lane is like right up our alley.
We have to watch Mockingbird Lane.
Hey, but why don't I do a segue? So HBO Max is a thing that's been announced and is coming soon.
Wait, how is that a segue? Wait a minute. Wait. How is that a segue? Because
canceled shows too, like shows that are going to be canceled really early.
It's funny because there's like a bunch of shows that like were up on the shelf for a while. They're like hitting HBO Max. I'm like kind of excited for.
Man,
that Looney Tunes cartoon show looks pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's not cartoons. It's like them making the cartoons. Like I don't remember like.
No, it's cartoons.
So it's just new Looney Tunes cartoons.
They're like brand new Looney Tunes cartoons.
I always like weird because the voice is always if it's not like a good impression of the original, it bugs me out.
I mean, like, I feel like a lot of the voice actors that they've had since, because like a lot of the new ones showed up when
Looney
they
Tunes
did
show.
Space Jams.
Yeah. Do you want to segue into that, and then we'll segue back? I'm just gonna say segue a bunch.
Oh yeah, that's Space Jam logo.
Oh yeah, I guess Space Jam with LeBron James is officially happening.
The thing that no one gives a shit about.
It's just now going to be called A New Legacy.
I'm actually very excited for Space Jam.
I love the original. I think my problem is, and I know Scott, you watch some sports. Like I guess I grew up more like I was like a huge Jordan fan.
Oh yeah. I have not seen that documentary series yet.
I have not watched because I don't have 9 fucking hours.
Well, it's dropping on Netflix in July, so
yeah. But he's a sociopath. But that's why he's the greatest of all time. But like, there's kind of a lack of personality in Michael Jordan, which makes Space Jam fun, where they have to get so much around him.
Yes.
And I just like, it just feels, I honestly don't get like how you do this movie without it just being a remake of the original. And I don't know, maybe it's just like I'm older and I'm like, I don't think these guys are as big of stars as some of the guys that they had in that movie were.
I would argue LeBron.
Well, but yeah.
LeBron is as big as Jordan is. Like,
yeah, they're close enough.
But I mean, like, if we're talking about like, you know, the rest of the crew, like Ewing or Barkley or Muggsy Bogues, like, I mean, like Anthony Davis is big, Chris Paul's big, Damian Lillard's big.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty comparable. Like,
now, you guys heard the rumor, right, about what might be featured in the movie?
I have not.
Apparently someone had leaked like photos were taken on set, and someone leaked the wrap party, and it's going to feature possibly characters such as the Mask, the Joker, Pennywise, and Voldemort.
No way. 1,000% no. I can see a cartoon version of the Joker, but
I can see
never
the Mask. I can see the Mask.
So do they own the Mask rights?
Warner, New Line.
So basically, Space Jam, they're like, okay, like, look,
They got Roger Rabbit.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, oh, so like Lego Movie, like the franchise, we kind of ran into the ground. Let's make Space Jam the new Lego Movie and force all of our IPs into Space Jam.
Yeah,
maybe I'm not sure.
I mean, okay, so like Space Jam, like legit, like was the first CD I ever owned. Like
the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, well, it has the greatest song by one of the like worst human beings of all time.
Like, no, it's like the Space Jam soundtrack is really good because I mean, like you have like I Can Believe I Can Fly. You have Come On Slam, Welcome to the Jam. You have like the Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em low, hit 'em low.
I wonder if on that one soundtrack is there R. Kelly and oh shit, what's the other music guy? They used to do all they did all the arena music. There was a pedophile too.
Oh, Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter.
The one they used for Joker.
Yes. Oh my.
Wait, Space Jam: A New Legacy is an HBO Max series?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. Wait, where the hell are you seeing this?
Okay, so wait, I'm sorry. What also remains to be seen if this will be released in theaters. It also has a date of July 16, 2021. Still with Warner Brothers investigating heavily into HBO Max streaming services and the changing by the hour. Oh, it's speculating. Never mind. Disregard what I just fucking said.
Yeah, the person in that article is saying like, oh, maybe it's this. Maybe it'll come out here. Yeah.
Oh, dude, don't fucking scare me like that.
I'm sorry. But yeah, like. I don't know. I'm excited for like I mean, like I can't imagine like a new Space Jam being like it's like Space Jam exists within your head as like a certain thing within your childhood, and like it there's like no way it can like measure up to like what.
When did
I'm going
did this
with like the
filmed
lowest
already, or is this going to be filmed?
I think it was filmed already. I think it's in post right now.
Because, like, I have, like, a big question in it, and that is, was Kobe in this? And, like, how does he feature? Because, like, I feel like he would be in this. Because I know that he was one of those guys that was talks for a long time to do Space
Kobe's
Jam
absolutely
2.
Kobe did not do it, but production wrapped on September of last year.
I feel like if
Okay.
I feel like if, like, the thing about Space Jam was that, you know, it's like, Space Jam like comes up and it's like you have Michael Jordan and then people of that era. It's like you don't watch Space Jam and then see Larry Bird at some point within that movie.
Well, I would think that Kobe could be that Larry Bird character.
Yeah, I mean like
because if I was recasting this, I would be like, oh, replace Newman with what's his name who does the snowman voice in Frozen,
Josh Gad
and or Kevin Hart.
Well, they haven't said Newman's in it, but I think I heard Don Cheadle is going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, and what's the star of Star Trek Discovery?
As LeBron's wife.
Well, they did have an actress play Jordan's wife. It was the same wife.
But
from,
hey, more important for all you fans out there, Lola Bunny's back.
For all you furries. Lots of furries were born in that movie.
Hey, man.
I'm pretty sure that's where Hunter discovered his.
Okay, like I look at it. Like I don't want to like actually like reveal too much about myself, but it's like one of those things where it's like I've sure, like I've like made fun of furries growing up as much as everyone else, but like I have like also realized within my life I very much appreciate the furry aesthetic. I've their character designs I think are like very neat, and like I think specifically for Lola Bunny, for people who saw the Looney Tunes show, like Kristen Wiig did the voice of Lola Bunny in that show, and like I also think like the Looney Tunes show is super fucking underrated.
That's the best depiction of Lola Bunny. Kristen Wiig in that show, goddamn godsend.
So well, I would say like the Looney Tunes show was a show that came out like maybe about 5 years ago on Cartoon Network, and it was like
It wasn't. It was about almost 10 years ago.
Oh, how time is that?
May 3rd, 2011.
Okay.
So almost
Okay.
exactly 9 years ago.
Yeah.
But like, so the Looney Tunes show was kind of like a weird, like down to earth, like retelling.
So it was like the Muppets show kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah. So they basically took the Muppets aesthetic of like them and their daily lives and it basically placed it within Looney Tunes. And it's like very good. It's so good. And so like we've had like the sexy like outlier like Looney Tune version of like Lola Bunny, and then we've had like the more like manic, more aesthetic like Looney Tune of Lola Bunny in the Looney Tune show. And so like I'm kind of like interested to see like how they kind of like take these two versions of Lola Bunny and like kind of like mash them together.
Oh wow!
Well, if it's a sequel, yeah, and it's genuinely funny. Kristen Wiig is so good as Lola. Like she's like, so.
I would assume they're going to lean more towards this like design, not like the art style, but this design. Because I think the joke with Lola Bunny is how sexualized that character is in like such a kids movie. Like that character is like insanely sexualized in the first movie.
I mean, like I feel like that's also the appeal of Lola Bunny in the original Space Jam, but I think you could have like a sexy version of Lola Bunny while also giving her like a little bit more to do within the story, other than just being like, "Hey, I'm really good at basketball and I'm the love interest for Bugs Bunny."
You know what this reminds me of, which is from like a How Did This Get Made? The problem with Lola Bunny is that while like Bugs Bunny is naked, Lola Bunny wears clothes, which implies that there are parts of Lola Bunny that we should not see.
Yeah.
And like that's the part that's like weird. It's like, it makes no, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. She has to be in it, but I would assume they're going to play her much less sexualized. Because I feel like Disney is like, I don't know, or not Disney. Warner Brothers is going to be a little more on top of that. I don't know. Space Jam is a weird fucking movie to like look back on in general. That even happened.
I mean, Warner Brothers. I mean, like Looney Tunes has always been kind of like, oh, like we're like the more like quote unquote adult version of like, you know, what Disney is doing. So
well, there always been like there's those old like Warner Brothers cartoons with like the wolf howling and stuff like that. They've always done stuff like that. But let's take one step back and go back to HBO Max.
Yeah. So, oh boy, we're going on tangent today, folks.
Yeah. Like so like I think like HBO like so about a week ago I actually canceled my WWE network because you know, it's like all the bullshit that company's been doing for like the last couple of weeks. And like I see, you know, it's like for me who has like this time, you know, this money open for like a new network, like HBO Max seems like pretty fucking cool because it's like you have like that new Looney Tunes show.
It's a little pricey, I would say. Like $15 a month is a decent amount.
Sure,
yeah, that's a pretty steep price.
Because I think is at Netflix the 4K one is like
$16.99.
Yeah, which I do, but I do it for the screens because we split it amongst like other people.
Like, it's like hard because it's like I'm gonna have to get rid of like I'm not gonna get rid of Disney Plus, but like HBO Max or Netflix is gonna be like difficult to decide between. I'll probably stick with Netflix for a while. Until HBO Max has some like really meaty stuff.
Yeah, it also depends on like when these shows drop because I'm so into like Close Enough. Like I want Close Enough so badly, which is the new JG Quintel show, the creator of Regular Show.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
The show was originally supposed to come out in 2018 and was shelved because Louis C.K. is a fucking shithead, and and Close Enough was supposed to pair with Louis C.K.'s other like cop show that was supposed to come out around the same time. And since the Louis C.K. show got shelved, Close Enough got shelved also. So it's supposed to come out on HBO Max. But like, you know, it's like you also have like New Adventure Time supposed to come out on that. Gremlins new stuff is supposed to come out on that.
New DC stuff, Doom Patrol Season 2.
Yeah, new DC stuff.
Oh yeah, they're basically this is all the stuff that's on DC universe is probably going to get moved over in some weird way. Because I don't remember, did Stargirl even come out yet? Because it got like postponed. That looks terrible.
I was gonna say, except for okay, so, like I feel like a lot. Like I haven't seen the Stargirl thing, but I can't imagine it looks any worse than. Like,
it looks worse than the CW stuff.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's like an aesthetic of the CW stuff that's like I get that's bad, and I know it's bad, but it's like it's there. You know, it is what it is because of the budget. I was gonna say, like, I can't imagine Stargirl looking any worse than anything that looks on the CW. But
the part that looks bad is their version of Wildcat looks horrendous.
Oh, woof. But there was a news story maybe like earlier last week that Harley Quinn's moving to Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I think they're going to re-air it on Sci-Fi.
Which is like cool. Like, I mean, like, I think that Harley Quinn show is like really rad. And
see, that's cool with me because I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good, but I would say because they're going to cut down the language, which is like it's because
I don't.
Have they officially said that?
They can't not.
Well, no, look at Happy. Happy was not cut down. They're probably going to put like a discretion mark at the beginning of it.
I guess, yeah, if it's late at night. Usually, I know Sci-Fi has done like if you watch on demand, they 100% like don't edit stuff.
Because I remember Happy was not a show that was edited. Let me tell you,
I still have to watch it.
It's the stuff they got away with.
If only I had the time.
Oh wow! If only the stuff they have both. They have all 2 seasons on Netflix. But the stuff they got away with is kind of like I have no doubt in my mind that Harley Quinn will be aired in its uncut glory.
It's just so weird that they're like they made this app and then not even in a year they're just like undercutting the shit out of it.
Yeah. I kind of hope that Harley Quinn, if DC Universe doesn't work out, it moves to HBO Max.
It would work. I would rather have it move to HBO Max than to anything else.
Yeah.
And Doom Patrol is so good. Like, it needs to survive.
I haven't finished it, but I've seen some of it, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Doom Patrol is fantastic. Like, it is such a good show.
Also, speaking of shows on streaming services coming to cable, I think Creepshow comes to AMC this week.
Cool. I've kind of wanted to check out that show, but not get Shudder.
So there you go.
Well, Shudder was doing like a free month.
Well, I missed out on it.
Remind me after the show. I'll send you my login because I somehow got a year of it. I don't know how.
Oops.
I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, so the entire first season of Creepshow is currently going to be starting to air on AMC as of Sunday, every Sunday.
Yeah, because I think Creepshow is like the first 2 Creepshows are like super underrated. Like, you know, it's like
I haven't seen Creepshow 2. Creepshow 1 is amazing.
I haven't seen any of them. This is the problem when you like someone who doesn't like horror movie stuff. You just don't see them like ever.
Wait, you don't like horror movies?
No, my wife doesn't.
Subscription?
No, my wife does not.
Oh, okay. Like the problem with like trying to discern Creepshow 1 and 2 is like they're all anthology horror movies, so it's like you're like, okay, so like what story am I thinking of that happens in 1 and 2?
I think everything they're doing is original, like brand new stories.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like when we're talking about like the original first 2 and like the one as like this because like the Leslie Nealon story I really like the one where he like he like his wife cheats on him and he buries her and like the cheating guy in the ground. And then he like sees like their ghosts show up. But yeah, I'm like looking at it now, like the one with like like they're both great. Like
I'm excited.
The raft, which I thought was in the first one, is in the second one, where it's like the people go swimming and then they get stuck on this raft and then there's like this blobby thing around them that eats people. Like that one's great.
Okay. No, check it out. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at them now, and like 2 out of the 3 of them are like, oh, the hitchhike. Okay, so like all 3 of them, I think, are pretty good. Like this, like Creepshow 2 is great. So
never seen it, but I do want to. Boy, we are on tangents tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I
mean, I think that's what happens with HBO Go is like such a huge like thing and interesting all these other things.
Yeah, there's some things that are interesting. Like I do like the idea that like if you're already signed up with like the phone service with AT&T, at least you get it, because basically that's the same thing
And if
that
you have
Apple
HBO
did.
Now or Go, you can like get that grandfather. You can get into HBO Max. So like,
I think
free
it's
of charge.
Go. I think it's Now. Go is the one where if you already have HBO and you log into it.
AT&T has a HBO thing.
Well, it's the same company.
It is. Oh, man.
Yeah, AT&T, Time Warner, baby.
Yep,
Well,
this is their Warner streaming service.
I should like try and like figure that out then.
Yeah, it's like if you bought a new Apple device, you get a year of Apple TV, which I have, and I have not watched anything.
Oh man, don't you want to see such shows as like the morning show or?
Well, I heard the morning show is good, but like
All right, that's a bad
Aquaman,
example.
where everybody's
Fine.
blind.
Servants, see.
I actually saw an ad for the Beastie Boys documentary, and it's like on Apple, and that looks pretty rad.
It would just make me sad. Which is like kind of reminds me of like one of the other things. I'm like, oh, it's like that Russell Simmons thing. I was like, I didn't know there was a doc on him. Oh, this is what it's on. Oh, sad. But I'm not surprised.
So what's the next story?
Should we talk about the JJ of the HBO?
Oh, speaking of which, before we go on to that, I actually just realized Harley Quinn starts this Sunday on Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah, the season 2. I think they're like a couple weeks into season 2.
They are.
Yeah, I realized that it started already on
DC Universe.
On Sci-Fi, actually. All right, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good time to do it because people are home and they got shit to do.
Yep.
But yeah, so J.J. Abrams is producing 3 shows. 2 are, one is like a new IP, and then the other 2, it's was it Overlook, The Overlook, or Overlook Hotel?
It's Overlook, which I've made jokes in separate chats before about this show, but
yeah, like I don't know, like I kind of just don't care.
So they're for HBO Max, which we were just talking about. The first one's called Overlook. Sounds like an anthology. 10 episodes. The untold, terrifying stories of the most famous haunted hotel in American fiction. So it's like, hey, did you ever want to know about the guy in the bear outfit or like the guy behind the bar? I feel like this is basically like what the show is supposed to do.
I kept making the joke that the whole show is going to be about Danny and his mother get recruited by a clandestine top secret government organization that hunts down the supernatural, and every week they're hunting a new case in the Overlook.
Well, it's like funny because like they're, you know, this whole thing is like it's a spin-off of The Shining, and I'm like, didn't we just get a spin-off of The Shining that was like kind of good that no one ever saw?
Yeah, but that's like, and it's a spin-off of the book. So is it going to be a spin-off of the movie or the book? Or we don't know yet.
I mean, Dr. Sleep was like a book, right?
Dr. Sleep was a book, yes.
But the movie is like a combo, like it's a sequel to both, from what I've read, because I have not watched it.
And then the second show is called Duster. It's co-written by LaToya Morgan from The Walking Dead Shameless, or Walking Dead Shameless, so series. Set in the 1970s Southwest, revolves around the life of a gutsy gateway driver for the growing crime syndicate who goes from awful to wildly stupid and dangerously awful. It is described as a goofy comedy, a gritty crime drama, and an action-adventure romp.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, sure, whatever.
Another J.J. Abrams show.
The third show is an adaptation of Justice League Dark.
It says like characters from Justice League Dark.
Well, so it's Justice League Dark.
Which is weird because we have
not sure if it's an adaptation of any like version of Justice League Dark,
or it's connected to any of the TV shows that have characters from this team already in them. Because we have the DC Universe Swamp Thing that was James Wan, wasn't it? Or was it Justin Lin? Cannot remember. And then you have the Matt Ryan Constantine that's running around. I had his own show, now he's on Legends.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest, like this was posted in a Facebook group, a different Facebook group that I'm part of, like when I first saw it, and I look, there are things that J.J. Abrams has done I've really liked, but right now, in this time of day, right now, I'd rather not see J.J. Abrams handle any popular property. Like, I get the reason why this is being made is because of him, but at the end of the day, I just feel like he just needs it to break.
Yeah, like...
I just don't care about his name. Like his name doesn't carry anything for me. And
it does for me, but I do agree with what Siler said. I do think with like I want to see more movies like Super 8, not Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, like you know what this honestly feels like? It feels like Jeff Johns or like a Brian Michael Bendis. Whenever like there's like a big adaptation of a thing that they have a hand in, and they're like, oh well, we'll get this popular guy to do the adaptation of this thing. You know, it's like, oh, we'll get Jeff Johns to do a Shazam comic because we have a Shazam movie coming out. And like, you know, it's like the Shazam comic's like super fucking late and it does nothing for DC and it does nothing for the movie. Or like Jeff Johns is like, oh hey, like we have this adaptation of like whatever thing he's doing and the movie's like, you know, it is what it is. Like I feel like Jeff Johns is being brought in because he's a name and Justice League is a name, so we're gonna bring him in to basically have some kind of synergy. But like, I would much rather have like someone who is like a visionary within like monster or horror or thriller or whatever.
Oh, you mean
like,
when they were going to have Guillermo del Toro do a movie?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish that movie was still happening.
Yeah, or how James Wan did a Swamp Thing TV show that.
Fuck, like I would rather
someone
have James
fucked up
Wan
the paperwork for
Justice League Dark. Like I feel like, you know, it's like I feel like the aesthetic of oh my god, J.J. Abrams is just like super clean and glistening and just like not what like Justice League Dark needs.
Well, it's like he's also only producing it, so it's just like they're slapping his name on. How much influence does he actually have on anything? Who knows?
Yeah, and that's completely fair.
Because like I honestly wonder if like he would even want to personally touch either of those things, because he just did stuff with a franchise with a rabid fan base and didn't come out of it well. So
I mean he did that with Star Trek also.
But I feel like he came out of Star Trek mostly.
I mean like I think
which one?
The first
JJ.
But it's like I think the first Star Trek like has people who don't like the first one, but I think majority like you have people who really like it, and then the second one, like I've never met anyone who
likes. Second one is meh at best.
I've never met anyone who likes Into Darkness.
Second, I have met a couple people. The second one is okay.
Yeah, like I mean, like I really hate that movie. I think it kind of like betrays like the like mission statement of the first movie.
It's good up until a twist.
Well, the twist makes no sense, and also everyone saw it coming, and everyone said from like even before it was made, it's like, oh, he's going to be Khan, and it's like, no, he's not. It's like, fuck you, he is, and it's so fucking dumb.
The first movie like basically sets up that like this is an alternate reality, and the events and the things that take place within this universe are necessarily not the things that you'll see going forward that happen in previous continuity. And you're like, oh, cool. Like this sets it up for like basically doing like whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then the Into Darkness is basically like, we're gonna do Wrath of Khan, and we're gonna have worse because like these characters have like no existing relationship, so there's no
just a guy.
There's no depth to their like disdain for one another. It's so bad. Like because it's like it basically is like, well, you know this relationship based off a thing that happened 40 years ago, and I'm like, well, I don't. I'm like someone who's existing within the frame of the first movie where you're like, we can do whatever you want, and instead of doing whatever you want, you did a thing from 40 years ago. Yeah. I really hate Into Darkness. I'm sorry.
Not add that movie to the list.
And it feels really bad because like Beyond is like a really cool movie. Because
that's another movie I need to watch, and I never watched it because I didn't like Into Darkness so much. I was like,
and it's directed by someone completely different. And it has like
isn't that one? Is that Juan or
no? That's Lynn.
Lynn. I'm not being racist. I mix them up all the time because both guys worked on Fast and Furious.
Wow.
I was gonna say one of the Fast and Furious guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Supposed to be.
It's not my fault that one saved Fast and the Furious and then the other one came in and made it better. Oh my god, I don't even know. So yeah.
Can I give you some breaking news? might not make any sense to the rest of you, but I still find this kind of funny.
Sure.
It's the official name of Sony's Spider-Man universe. Like, they actually have a name for it.
Wait, like the Venom one?
Yeah.
Or a Spider-Verse one?
Like, just any Sony
Oh,
Spider-Man
yeah, we haven't even talked, like...
Is it called Maximum Sony?
No, it's called the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters.
So many letters.
That's such a stupid name. Going back on Parks and Rec, that sounds like something Perd Hapley would say. The Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters.
We haven't talked about that. So, what is the name of that movie? It's not Maximum Carnage. It's like
Let There Be Carnage.
Go Wild?
No, Let There Be Carnage. Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna use the Carnage name in it, why wouldn't you go with the name that everybody knows?
I mean, you set up Maximum Carnage for the third movie.
But then
but he's still a stupid ass name.
Oh wow! This movie got delayed to next year.
Yeah.
Venom. Yeah. Everything
I
is
didn't
delayed.
see that. Oh
yeah.
wow!
Yeah. I think they're gonna do. Was it like February next year?
It's October next year.
Oh, so it got bumped back like
a full year.
So far. Yeah. Okay.
And it's basically taking over the place of the Batman.
Yeah, because that got bumped back, and I'm sure Wonder Woman's going to get bumped back again.
Wonder Woman and Tenet, I'm just waiting for Warner Brothers to come out and say, like, we're bumping them back, unless AMC is like, no, because we lost Universal, you have to stay in our theater.
Yeah, I was actually like, I just remembered that. Like, yeah,
I was trying to find a way to.
AMC didn't lose Universal. AMC told Universal to go fuck itself for some reason.
Fucking stupid, but okay.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I was like, I've never seen a studio actively hate money before, or a company, excuse me. Like, Sally, did you hear about this?
No.
So, John, yeah, pretty much Universal said fuck you to, or AMC said fuck you to Universal and kicked all their movies out of theaters. So no more Universal movies are getting put in AMC theaters.
Yeah. Okay. So I did hear that. And I feel like until like a Fast and the Furious or Illumination or like whatever like big franchise film like hits the theaters,
any Blumhouse movie,
yeah. Like, I feel like their tune will just immediately change.
Well, that's like, even if they still exist by the time that happens.
Yeah, and I think it's like, it's very weird, because it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? It's like, if you're like a studio, and you have a bunch of films within your, like, library that you need to get out, it's like, what are you supposed to wait for?
I think the big thing is that, like, the way that this happened, and how much, so I looked, World Tour made $100 million. The first Trolls made 116 in its first 3 weeks. So it's like barely behind it, just on video on demand rental. That's $20 like a household. So
just like super impressive, because it's like you're like basically comparing like going to a theater of like let's say like a nuclear family of 4, and so you're spending basically
$50.
Yeah, that's $50. Comparable to the $20 that you're like spending at home, and that still made more money than like going to the theater.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of showing that it's a little hard to know, but like for right now, the situation we're in, I think kids' movies are like the perfect thing for the on-demand, like right to on-demand.
Well,
or like big services.
Here's the funny thing about that, right? Okay, so I'm doing some research. Here's what Universal would be losing out on, quote unquote, if they like don't do this, if they like keep this up with Universal. Here's what AMC is losing. They are losing Halloween, both sequels, Jurassic World, Fast 9, Minions, the animated Mario movie, and at this one I just found out, Universal owns the international like distribution rights to James Bond now. AMC owns one of the biggest theater chains in the UK.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
yeah, they are bluffing. No one believes them.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
All it's doing is like making them look fucking. But I do think the bigger thing is that like on like video on demand, at least for the moment, which goes to like how I don't know if we talked about it, but like Scoob is coming out to video on demand in what, like a month?
On the day it was supposed to come in theaters.
Yeah, and I bet that's gonna do gangbusters.
I mean, I'll rent it. I'm excited.
Because, like, I honestly feel like, even if, like, as long as there are 2 people in your household,
keep going.
And I was to say, like, if there's 2 people in your household, it's kind of not too bad of a deal to rent a movie for $20 and stay at home for like an animated movie or like a kind of fun comedy movie. There's only a couple, like, I wouldn't want to see some horror movies like you want to see in theaters, and big action flicks like you want to see in theaters. But like other than that, like the like, you know, rom-coms or all this stuff like that, like do they necessitate a theater experience?
I mean, no. I mean, there's definitely some what is it? There's some Broadway, not Broadway, excuse me. Oh my god, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. There's some like comedies, like what was it? Pete Davidson's new movie is getting a video on demand release. The King of Staten Island, the new Judd Apatow movie.
Oh.
That's getting an on demand release. So like there's some that could constitute it, but like I see what you're saying. But I'm excited for Scoob. I'm just kind of wondering, it's interesting because what if, you know, Warner Brothers comes out, sees how much Scoob does gangbusters in terms of VOD, and it's like, oh, maybe we can put some movies. And then AMC's like, oh, wait, we can't get rid of that with you. Then we lose Nolan in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see how stupid this is.
It'll be
the second that WB was like, oh, we're going to put Scoob on video on demand, I was like, oh, Trolls World Tour must have done like super well.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense. Like my wife's cousins that live by us, like they have 3 kids, like 2 are in high school, but it's like, and they have like a little brother, but it's like finding stuff to like for like younger kids to do is kind of difficult right now. And like if there is new content coming out that you could throw at them, I'm sure like that it's just gonna get eaten up.
Plus, I feel like Scoob has a broader appeal based on those trailers and the reactions to them.
Like, I would agree with that because I think Scooby-Doo as a brand has a larger reach than Trolls.
Yeah, I think the thing that goes for Trolls is the musical element of it.
And colors.
Yeah, but Scoob's going to have good color. But Scoob, like you said, has like a better, like a wider range.
For an audience.
Because, like, I'm interested in Scoob. I've seen the first Trolls. I really have no interest in seeing the
I have no interest. I saw those trailers for the Trolls movies, first and the second. I have no interest. But Scoob, I saw the trailer. I'm like, yeah, this looks cool.
Well, the problem with it, which is like the other animated one, which is like Sing, there's only like they're all cover songs, except for the one for that Justin Timberlake.
So is
the first
Trolls.
One. Yeah, so I'm saying Trolls is like that. I'm like, Trolls is like Sing, where it's not original songs, so it's weird.
I kind of want to see Trolls, like, but I don't want to spend $20 for it.
Yes, but like,
would you spend $20 for Scoob? Is a question.
I spend $20.
Okay.
Try to like, what is our? You've gone down so many rabbit holes. I don't even know what to talk about anymore. Do we want to talk? I know we have not talked about the DC Diamond thing. Was it DC or Marvel that cut ties with Diamond? I think it was DC, right?
DC did.
Yeah, DC.
So that is interesting because we're supposed to be getting new books starting next week, or is it the week after?
May 20th.
So 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, DC dropped.
So I got about 3 weeks to read all my backlog books.
I feel like I actually haven't read like a comic book. I've had the Invisibles omnibus open to page 1 since the coronavirus started, and I've just not walked over to it.
Because I find that like the most daunting thing is to have like something that's just like big in front of you, and it's just, okay, I'll get to it. It's like the thing that gets you going is like a small thing. It's like once you conquer that small thing, you can just like keep on going. Yeah,
I still feel like personally right now, like I've been in, for me, like it's like mental health wise, like I've been trying to watch more upbeat stuff. So like my anime consumption has been like through the fucking roof of like goofy animes. And that's been like what I've been doing as opposed to reading like, because most of my comic book stuff that I'm into is like on the heavier side or darker side. So like, I'm just not feeling that right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because yeah, I think I just finished one that was on either Crunchyroll or VRV or whatever. That was like the isekai thing where the guy gets stuck in another world, but his mom comes with him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was amusing.
Because doesn't he have like a romantic relationship with his mom?
No, he does not. It's not one of those.
I think
no. His mom is just hot.
My mom's like 2 cannon garage.
It's like my mom's 2-hit combo is like unbeatable.
Oh, I heard about this one now. Yeah.
Yeah, because basically the idea is like, he
Do
thinks
you
it's
love
like
your mom or her 2-hit multi-target attacks?
yes, and like the idea of it is basically that like basically the you find out that I think it's basically you find out at the end of like the first or the second episode that it's not a game for because it's like they're beta testers for this new game where it's like full immersion. And you find out, like, it's actually not for teenagers. It's a game built for moms to get closer to their children.
Yeah,
and he's just like fucking trapped in it.
Fuck them kids.
Okay, maybe it's just me and my line of work, and I just assume hearing "Do you love your mom?" or her 2-hit multi-target attacks, and just assumed that's a story about a dude and his mom in an isekai world, and then she's like wanting to have sex with.
No, she is basically presented as like super hot, and she constantly is ending up in her underwear or like in like scandalous clothes, and he's like freaking out, and he's just like, "This is fucking torture. Why am I here? Like, why is this happening to me?
Embarrassing me."
Well, it's more like, they get attacked by a slime monster, so like he slips and falls, and like their clothes are getting eaten away. And he's just like, someone please fucking kill me. This is not the adventure I wanted. But no. There's been a bunch of other stuff. Are there any other news stories, or does anybody want to talk about anything else?
I mean, yeah. So Humble Bundle has like an image Humble Bundle currently right now where it's like if you want to own every Walking Dead comic for $18, go to Humble Bundle because they have it all for $18 for the next 19 days.
Yeah, they usually do. I know I bought like the Lemire one. They had a Bond one recently, and they had another one recently too. That was like
they had a Jonathan Hickman one.
Oh yeah, John Hickman. Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of.
But yeah, it's like if you like The Walking Dead and still within that franchise, it just has not died. There you go.
Oh, there is one more news story I wanted to bring up. Did you guys hear about that Transformers prequel that's coming out?
The animated one?
Yes.
Oh.
I saw about that today.
Is it connected to the movies, or is it like a new cartoon?
It's a new animated movie. It's directed by the guy who did Toy Story 4. It's a big scale theatrical prequel that's like the origin of like Cybertron and the relationship between Optimus and Megatron.
Just because they kind of did that in Bumblebee, and it looked really cool, and then they just didn't capitalize on Bumblebee.
I think they're gonna probably explore what was started in Bumblebee, but I'm probably in the more animated sense. I'm not sure.
I think I also just think it's very funny that you don't get the animated director of Bumblebee to do the animated version of Transformers, and instead you get like, oh, look at Pixar guy to do this movie. Or like, oh, who's the newest Pixar guy? Oh, the guy who did Toy Story 4. Like, yeah, let's get him.
Well, it's funny because there's a Transformers like War for Cybertron trilogy coming to Netflix. That's like a wholly different thing.
Sure. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I feel like it's like Krypton, right? I feel like Transformers like is more interesting when it's off Cybertron. Like, I don't need to really know about the minutia of Cybertron, its politics, why Optimus Prime is considered a rebel, like why like Megatron like basically outcasts the whatever, and then the planet gets destroyed. It's like, it is what it is. It's like Optimus Prime is Superman and Megatron is Zod. Like, and just like leave it at that, and then go to Earth and do whatever shenanigans are there. Like, I just don't understand this idea that we have to keep on going back to Cybertron and do whatever there.
I mean, I'm down with a whole movie on Cybertron. I'm kind of over Transformers continuously going to Earth. Like, the opening of Bumblebee was still like, yeah, Bumblebee's a good movie, but the opening of that movie was fantastic. Like, that's what I was like waiting for.
I feel like Transformers are in like the same boat as Godzilla, where it's like, well, there's a bunch of bad Godzilla bullshit with like humans, so that automatically means that Godzilla is at its worst when humans are involved, and it should just be Godzilla to humans like 90-10. And I feel like that's just wrong. like I feel like Transformers are like as most interesting like when like good, well-rounded human characters are involved, and are like basically you know brought into the plot. But like it doesn't help when you have like 4.5, 5 movies of human characters who are like completely fucking work.
That's fair.
No, that's where I think is the problem. Like they don't know how to write the human character. Because even if you go back to the old cartoon, like the human characters were interesting. It's just that they like don't know how to deal with them. And I don't know. I get the idea of like, see, I have like no interest in watching like a Cybertron war. Like I would have more interest in, I don't know, them doing like Beast Wars, a movie. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of get both. I also like kind of tired of Transformers. Like in general,
like Beast Wars, I think is like the few times where you could like do the Transformers, and it's like, but like that also exists within a world where like humanity is either non-existent or within like the building blocks of existing.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like I'm just done with Transformers.
Yeah,
and like give me other giant robot things. Give me a Gundam. Give me a like anything else.
Yeah. Like Transformers like doesn't really help when like
they've done what, 7 of them?
4, 5? Like Bumblebee is the 5th film, right?
I thought it was like 6
No, Bumblebee is the 6th.
Yeah, it's like you've done 5. Okay, Transformer 1 is like not bad.
No.
But then then you did 4 pretty bad movies. And then
hang on, I'm gonna defend 3. 3 was pretty okay. I liked 3.
Which one is 3?
Dark of the Moon with Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, that one. That one's fun.
I was gonna say the 4th one was like the one I was gonna defend.
The 4th one's the one I've never. That's the Mark Wahlberg one, right?
That's the first Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, 4 and 5 are just. Ugh.
The fourth one was like, well, like at least we have Mark Wahlberg, who is
talk
like
about these cars turning into robots.
Who is at least like a major like as like on paper like a action film star.
Well, that's because they set up a whole bunch of stuff in like the first one that they just ignore. Remember how there's like a hacker girl and Anthony Anderson in the first movie?
Yep.
And they just don't exist ever again.
Yeah.
Like they built up these like other human characters that where it's like, oh, these 2 characters are like kind of hackers and they figured out that there's shit going on. Never talk about them again. They don't exist. Let's stick with what's his name? Fergie's ex-husband.
Oh, Josh Duhamel.
And Tyrese.
Left cheek.
It's like, oh, let's have like the not G.I. Joe characters like run around. It's like, all right, well then if you're gonna do this, just like make a Transformers G.I. Joe movie.
Okay, speaking of which, just give me a good G.I. Joe movie first. I mean, okay, Retaliation's okay, but
is that the second one?
Yes, the one with
the second one has ideas and things that work.
Better than the first.
Yeah, well, the first one is just like it doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. Remember how? Oh my God, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Cobra Commander.
Oh God, that was such a. I remember watching that movie. I remember the part when they mentioned Dr. Mindbender. Mind you, I don't know G.I. Joe that well, but me and my friend were literally laughing out loud in the middle of the movie theater. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to laugh out loud here, but
yeah. What's the problem with like what's the guy who's the Mummy's character's name? It's like Karnak.
Oh,
he is. And then he's the big bad in the second one.
Destro.
No, Destro's in the first one that gets the metal fate.
Oh no! I know you're talking about.
That they completely ignore. They're like, Destro, you bad. You stay in your tank.
Zartan. That's Arnold Vosloo.
Zartan. Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Mindbender was played by Benny from The Mummy. Oh, okay.
Wait, they have 2 people from The Mummy in it?
Yeah, it's Stephen Summers.
Oh man, I don't remember that character
and then
at all.
Brendan Fraser showed up for like a minute.
Oh yeah, he does. Remember in the second one how they kill off everybody in the first 5 seconds?
Yeah, because Channing Tatum wanted to get the fuck out.
I remember them being like, "Oh, we're gonna like put him like they were gonna do reshoots to add him back in." I was like, "What did they reshoot? He's in two shots. He has a conversation with The Rock, and then he's dead."
And still, the best parts of that movie are Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Yeah, that first movie is really bad.
Wait, weren't they supposed to be doing a Snake Eyes movie?
They still are doing a Snake Eyes movie from the director of R.I.P.D.
Yikes!
Oh no!
Yeah, it is. Oh no.
So moving on, Disney announced that they're doing a live action remake of Hercules with the Russo brothers.
I kind of think it's
they're
perfect.
producing, but I also will not be surprised if they direct it.
I kind of think it's a perfect setup because I think it's like one of the most forgotten Disney cartoons, like animated films.
I think it's a Disney film that has like much like Hunchback has like a lot of problems that kind of like bog it down. But like while like Hunchback is like this really good kind of like serious film that's like bogged down by
Jason
like
Alexander.
gargoyles,
the weird plot.
like Hercules is kind of like bogged down by just like having too much of it going on while also like it's like doesn't want to be like a superhero movie, doesn't want to be like a Rocky movie. It kind of like and those two narratives are kind of like pushing each other and they kind of don't know what they want to be. The one thing within this article I'm reading that it's rumored that Ariana Grande is attached to it to play
Yes.
Megara.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think
that's like, and that's the worst. Like, and
I'm
like
not into that at all.
And I'm like not someone who does not like Ariana Grande. Like, I like a lot of Ariana Grande songs. Like, the thing about Megara is like she's obviously like older than Hercules. Like she's like
she should be in her like late 20s, early 30s.
Well,
she's like in her
here's the thing about Ariana
early
Grande.
to mid 30s.
She's not even rumored for it. It's just the fact that people want her to be Megara.
Oh, like that fucking sucks. Because like the people who like want her to be Megara like don't understand like who that character is. Because like Megara is like obviously like older than Hercules. Like she's like someone who's like been around the block, and I'm not talking like like sexually. I'm talking about like someone who like
well, that's like her whole song
is
like about like, oh, I don't want to be the damsel in distress. Like Ariana Grande is kind of princessy.
Well, I think the people why people are picking it is because she was on that Disney Family sing-along and she sang "I Won't Say I'm in Love" from the movie.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not talking about like because like the very last thing like I would say about like Megara as a character is a damsel in distress. So it's like sure, like the first time you see her is like being like accosted by like the Minotaur, but like Hercules shows up, he's like, "Hey, do you need help?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm a damsel, I'm distressed, but hey, I don't need help. Get lost, whatever." And that's like kind of like the appeal of Megara. It's like she's like this older, badass, like fucking lady who's like seen the world, and like Hercules is like this newborn, kid who like kind of doesn't know like he's
Now,
a kid who
here's my
grew up in
question,
the
though.
sticks who's like shows up in like the city and doesn't really know what's
He's
going on.
Hercules.
He's Superman and she's Lois Lane.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god, you were exactly right.
Yeah,
oh man,
that's the dynamic. Like it's the farm boy and the city girl, and she's like, "Get the fuck out of here, Smallville."
Oh man, how did I never see that?
So let me ask you a question: who do you guys want for? My God, I'm blanking. Hercules or Hades? Actually,
everybody. I saw the one thing that
not everybody, just Hercules and Hades. We already know who's playing
a villain, so we can't have him replace.
We all know who's playing Phil
Hades.
and who they're bringing back. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
he can't. Honestly, like if he can do it, he's perfect. Like Dan DeVito coming back.
Can also Bobcat Goldthwait come back to voice like one of the minions?
That would probably be fine.
Ooh, Robert Downey Jr. as Hades.
Yeah, I mean, like,
he works with the Russos. He works with Disney. It's like kind of works.
That's what, like, I saw one of the things and I was like, oh, Chris Hemsworth as Hercules. I'm like, I think he's too old. Like he seems.
Yeah.
And it's like also it's like you're going to get like a guy who plays Thor to play Hercules. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Like.
But the thing is, like, I don't know for like the younger characters. Like, I don't even know who's like a younger actor to play that character.
It'd be like a character like we don't, or like it'd be an actor like we don't know.
Although it would be funny if they got Hemsworth's younger brother,
Liam.
Yeah. that'd be funny.
That'd be funny.
But I mean, like I don't know. Like
they get Chris to play Zeus.
Yeah, I it's like I was talking to someone in our Discord, and it's just like at the end of the day, I like the Jungle Book, but like Jungle Book is probably like my favorite of these live action remakes, but it's like it's like if I go on to Disney Plus and I have the chance to watch Jungle Book the animated version or Jungle Book the remake, like I'm gonna watch Jungle Book the animated. And I feel like that's just kind of the problem with all these new versions. It's just like I would much rather just watch the original animated version.
I mean, I watched the remake just to hear Christopher Walken sing "I Want to Be Like You." So
I have not seen it yet. I think I've only seen 3 of the.
I'm the king of the swing.
I've seen Cinderella. I've seen Beauty and the Beast, and
Cinderella and Lady and the Tramp are the ones I missed out on.
I will not see Lady and the Tramp. Fuck that movie. I don't care what pandemic is. I honestly can't even and Aladdin. I think is the one where I'm just like, why? Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I don't like why. Like, I don't understand why it exists.
It's funny because it's like I really like because I saw Aladdin, and I don't mind Will Smith as Genie, and I actually like really like Friend Like Me. Like I think their rendition of Friend Like Me is like really fun, but other than that, it's like I would much rather just watch the original animated version because it's like a lot funner of a movie.
You know, I'm sorry. I've been thinking about who I would play Hades in this. The only person I can think of is Christopher Walken. Now that you've said it,
yeah,
Christopher Walken would kind of be perfect.
Or I mean, like, Norm Macdonald.
I mean, like, I think these remakes are like really ripe for taking the original movies that kind of like have like little like huge like major problems to them, and then like readapting them to fix those problems. Like there's been like talks that they've been trying to do a Hunchback of Notre Dame remake for like a while, and I'm like, that's it. Like that's the live action remake you do. Because like,
have you seen like
Hunchback is so fucking good.
Have you seen the footage of the musical?
Which one?
The musical, the Hunchback musical that premiered over here in New Jersey. They premiered a Hunchback of Notre Dame like musical with like.
I saw like the Lindsay Ellis video about all the Hunchback adaptations. I assume it was like one of those.
No, it's not even that. No. Here I live in New Jersey, so here up by me in New Jersey at the Paper Mill Playhouse is the name of the theater. They did a production of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like they've combined the songs minus the gargoyles with the story of the play. Like I think Frollo was much more like the book than the musical.
See, I think the problem with like doing Hunchback is one.
But I feel like that's where that would work better is if you took that musical and made that movie instead of just like doing directly animated.
Yeah, I feel like the problem with Hunchback is like you have to then like put somebody in all of that makeup, which I feel like causes a shit ton of problems in 2020 or 2021, whenever it comes
either
out.
That or it's motion capture.
I guess, but then that could look real weird. Because honestly, the thing that's like the least problematic is the gypsy stuff. Because like I feel like,
do you think they'd cast Josh Gad?
No, I feel like they would cast like a really good looking guy.
I was gonna say, so evidently they're filming a Hunchback's remake right now, and Josh Gad's in it, and people and like his role is like not brought up, but people are just assuming it's the like the
Quasimodo.
No, not Quasimodo. The jester who's like the ringleader of like the
Clopen.
Festival of Fools.
Clopen.
Yeah, sure.
I will say though, I kind of hope they get Peter Capaldi as Judge Frollo.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I would have picked if he was still alive, it would have been Alan Rickman, but no, Peter Capaldi.
I don't even remember this movie because like, isn't the plot basically that the bad guy is just mad because she's hot?
Yeah,
and he's like turned on by her.
He is, but he considers it like devilish because she's a gypsy, and like he's like, no, God will judge me, but I want her, and if she doesn't want me,
it's not my fault that like
I'm like rocking
into her. It's the devil trying to tempt me into liking her, and she's like a devilish temptress.
And then she's just like, he's just like, if she rejects my advances, I'm burning her at the stake.
Yeah.
Does she die at the end?
Not in the Disney version.
Yeah, not in the Disney version.
There are versions where she does die. And people there's like a big Lindsay Ellis video about the Hunchback of Notre Dame that's really good if you want to know more about the history of Hunchback. But yeah, like there are versions where Esmeralda dies. There, like this version is like the one where she does not.
And here's the thing: with the exception of the Gargoyles song, the music in this is like for me top 5 Disney, top 3 maybe.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah, yes.
Frollo's song is the best, one of the best villain songs in Disney history, like bar none.
It is.
I have to rewatch this movie because I don't remember. I honestly have zero memories.
Here's the thing: if you watch it now as an adult, you're like, "Oh my god, this is a Disney movie."
Like, well, because this movie came out in '96, so I was 9. So I was like, yeah, I guess I would have like.
And there's like a huge tonal dissonance, and they talk about it in the Lindsay Ellis video, but there's like a huge tonal dissonance between the merchandising for like stores and Burger King and like playing up the Festival of Fools, you know, within the trailers, and then you watch like the film and it's like it's kind of super dark and dour and like the darkest villain song they've ever done.
Deals with like infanticide, lust, damnation, sin. They literally say hell in this movie. I'm like, this is G-rated.
Yeah, I just looked her up. Like, I've actually never seen any of her videos, so I'm gonna have to watch some of them.
Yeah, they're really good. I would recommend like, yeah, I would highly recommend like a lot of her like more like recent stuff in like the last like 3 or 4 years.
But if you have Disney Plus, I would highly recommend watching this. This is, to me, I think one of the most underrated Disney movies and one of the best.
Yeah, I would say that about Hercules though, because I think Hercules has like some of the best music too, and like Ali does not fit the movie because it's like sometimes like it's gospel-y, but like that's why it's so fucking good.
The music in Hunchback, again, with the exception of the goddamn gargoyles, fits the movie.
Yeah. So I think we've gone on like several thousand tangents. Is there any other news stories or anything else we want to go over?
Yeah, sorry. So Netflix signed a deal with Boom Studios as a first look TV deal, which I'm like very excited for because I really love Boom Studios. For people who don't know about Boom Studios, they're the publisher behind books like Giant Days, which I super love, Lumberjanes, Mecha Cadet U, and then Guards, Once a Future King, Heavy Vinyl. Currently the publishers of the Power Ranger comics, Faithless, Something is Killing the Children. So like a ton of like really cool stuff. Like a studio, like a comic book publisher that's like kind of like ripe for like different kind of adaptations. Like a lot of people kind of like know them like also like when they were kind of like blowing up as Mark Waid's Irredeemable and Incorruptible, which were like kind of like dark superhero like recontextual like comics. But yeah, I think that line's like I think Boom Studios is like one of my favorite comic book lines out there right now, and hopefully this partnership with Netflix is super fruitful because I think they have like a lot of really great comics in their backlog that would make some really good adaptations.
Kind of crazy that Netflix now has like Miller and Miller World and now Boom.
It's funny because like what have they done with Miller World? Like
nothing yet.
Well, nothing yet. Well,
but
it's
like
all the stuff they lost Marvel. Like that's all it is.
But like they signed up Miller World like 2 years ago, right?
I don't know if it was that long ago. I feel like it was like a year ago.
No, it was definitely not last year.
It was more than that?
It was 2017.
Because didn't they...
August of 2017.
Okay, so like 3... Wow. Didn't they also have Valiant for a minute?
No,
they did not. Because like because Netflix acquired...
so Jupiter's Legacy is going to be first.
So Netflix acquired Millerverse, and then they said that they were going to do an adaptation of the Magic Order, and that never came out. And then Netflix said that they were going to start working on adaptating like Empress, Hawk, and Chucky the Bounty Hunter, and Jupiter's Legacy in American Jesus, and those never came out. 2018, December 6th. Miller updated to the progress of Miller World properties adapted for Netflix. Jupiter's Legacy is going to be the first television series released. Sharky the Bounty Hunter, Empress, and Hawk are scheduled to be feature films in development under Netflix. Millar will exclusively adapt new Millarworld properties into streaming services, tied in with whatever. March 2019, Netflix announced it would produce an anime series based on Super Crooks, produced by Bones. And yeah, none of this shit has ever come out. So who knows? Maybe like Netflix buying up like first looks at Boom Studios is like them trying to just like hedge their bets.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's interesting because like Umbrella Academy worked and Lock and Key happened. So
yeah, Locking Key did happen.
It was a show that is not for me. I feel like I need to go read a comic book. Yeah, I feel like it's the Cloak and Dagger thing / like Runaways.
I never finished that show.
I think I watched 3 episodes, and then me and my wife looked at each other. I was like, "This is garbage. Like, we're not like even." And she watches shows on that network, and she's like, "Yeah, this is too much for me."
I feel like though, because like I mean, based off of like people's review of that comic or like of that show, and like how different, like it's very different from like the source material, and like the way that people feel about the show of Umbrella Academy to the comic Umbrella Academy is like how I feel about Umbrella Academy, like the show. I feel like way understanding of the Umbrella Academy show than they were of Lock, because it seems like Lock and Key was like them just trying to do Stranger Things again.
Oh yeah, there is definitely like I would say Lock and Key is them trying to do. It feels like Stranger Things. It feels like I'm trying to think of what movie am I thinking? It's like Spooky Modern Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Umbrella Academy is like a kind of reinterpretation of the book. So I don't know. I just was not into Lock and Key. But I am also. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Because I'm crashing out.
Yeah, I'm starting to go like.
Did we lose Siler?
Oh, here.
Oh, okay. So yeah, is there anything else? Are we now? I don't even remember what we talked about, but I feel like the name of this episode has to do with something with either Lola Bunny or inappropriate mother son,
or just how many tangents we went on. That should be the description. Just how many tangents we went on.
Lola, like the name of the episode is like Divergent Tangents about Lola Bunny being my inappropriate mom.
All right, now I have to write that down.
Perfect.
I mean, like if we're gonna talk about like comics we read, like the only thing I've read within the last week is like I'm trying to get caught up within Amazing Spider-Man because I have about 30 issues of Spider-Man in my backlog that I just been buying because Spider-Man, for some fucking reason, is a book that releases like twice a month, and while The Hunted was going on, they were releasing 3 books a month. So I bought all of them, and I'm in the middle of The Hunted right now, and it's like kind of funny because like so I read like issues like 12, 13, and 14. Yeah. And like those are like kind of setups to The Hunted tangentially, where like the first 12 and 13 are about like J. Jonah Jameson accepting an award from the Kingpin, and his only like thing that he wants is he wants Spider-Man to be there. So there's like this picture of Kingpin, J. Jonah Jameson, Spider-Man all taking a picture together, and a bunch of stuff happens. It involves Arcade, it involves the Scorpion, and like it's like a really cool issue, or like a couple of issues that basically kind of goes within the history of J. Jonah Jameson. And it's like really fun. And then like but like at the end of it, like Scorpion gets kidnapped by Taskmaster and Black Ant, and like the whole entire kind of like first half of Amazing Spider-Man is us like those two capturing like all of the animal villains, and it's all kind of like leading up to which I'm like halfway into, called The Hunted, and it's Craven the Hunter with his like son that was basically created by the High Evolutionary.
Oh
Because
my god.
yeah, so
anytime the High Evolutionary's name is mentioned, it's like
so Craven and his family, who were like pretty big within the Grim Hunt, go to the Savage Land, and Craven like kills his wife, kills his son. His daughter's like, peace out, I'm fucking gone. So it's like, okay, so you're gonna introduce like the Grim Hunt, but then you're not gonna do anything with these characters. Like, whatever. And he goes to and he starts killing like all these hybrids that were killed by or made by the High Evolutionary. And the High Evolutionary is like, okay, like please stop killing like my creations. Like, what do you want? And Craven's like, create me a bunch of spawn of myself. And so he creates like 80 some versions of Craven the Hunter, and then like the one who kills them all shows back up to Craven, and
so it's like that Jet Li movie, The One.
Yeah. And he shows back up to Craven, and it's like it kind of like makes no sense because like Craven like does this huge thing where he's like, oh, like man who's like not built for the hunt, like these rich billionaires who come here and like they're handheld to like go and kill animals, and they're not like true hunters like me and you, my boy. Like they need to be like wasted away. And then like there's like this big like Craven's like he basically wears a suit, and he's like, my boy, like let's go to the hunt. And the hunt is basically like Craven and his offspring and all these other like major league hunters that Craven's decided to spare to go hunt supervillains who have like animal themes. So like the white rabbit, the kangaroo, the rhino, the vulture, the beetle, like all of them. And so like I'm at the I'm at the issue where they just captured Black Cat, and I'm just like this fucking sucks. And like it kind of is also just like really sad because I really like Squirrel Girl, and like Craven's like a big part of that comic. And there's even a part in that Squirrel Girl comic with Craven where Craven is like look, like a meta-textual thing where Craven's like, hey, like you're gonna hear things from me, or you're gonna hear things about me that are different than what you know about me, and it's not the same. And it's like this meta-textual thing about like, hey, this character who shows up within this comic, like this is the reason why he sounds so different within other mediums. And it's like funny because like Craven within Squirrel Girl is like way more interesting than the Craven that's in Amazing Spider-Man. Like Amazing Spider-Man, he's just like, oh, he's like this hunter who wants to hunt like fucking villains who have animal themes, and that's it. Like,
so he's the same character from when he originally started.
Yeah, like
I thought Craven died at one point, and like from cancer.
Craven did die, and that's why the Grim Hunt happened, because his family resurrected him by killing oh my god, who's that Spider Girl?
Which one?
It's like actually the one that I think is like really kind of like underserved.
Silk?
It's not Silk. Oh my god, why are they bringing up me?
There's so many.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's so weird. Okay, it's not Mayday. It's not Anya. List Spider.
It's not Julie Carpenter, or
it's not Julie Carpenter.
It's not Jessica Drew.
It's not Jessica Drew. Oh my god! This is like okay.
So
I'm gonna look at. It's like literally like she shows up in Alias, and it's like really fucking sad. As it's like she shows up in Alien. Maddie Franklin, yeah, okay. So Maddie Franklin was like this super fan. Like basically, she's like a analog to Tim Drake, where Tim Drake is like a big fan of Batman, and then finds out that Batman, like Bruce Wayne, is Batman through her own. Like that's Maddie Franklin.
Okay, I remember. She's the one that has like the legs in the back of her costume.
Yeah. So then Maddie Franklin shows up like years later in Alias, and she's like drug, like she's addicted to like this drug, and it's like I might be wrong about this, but if I remember right, it's like kind of like assumed that she's been like raped, or like at least sexually abused in some way, and it's like she's like a character that has like a lot of potential, but like Marvel just, or like, Brian Michael Bendis like kind of just made her like into this drug addled character who like is kind of redeemed within the run, and then the Grim Hunt happens, and Brian Michael Bendis, like, no, Dan Slott, I think it's Dan Slott, like just like fucking kills her in the Grim Hunt.
It's
to resurrect Kraven.
Wikipedia. It is so much worse than you thought it was.
I'm just like following along. I'm like, wait, what?
So it says, while on her first date, Maddie slipped a date rape drug, and since by this time she has completely lost her toxin resistance power she absorbed from Jessica Drew, she is rendered senseless. A small-time drug dealer then exploits her to produce the drug mutant growth hormone, as well as using her for prostitution. In order to keep her prisoner, he regularly doses her with a psychoactive drug. Jessica Jones rescues her with the help of Jessica Drew and returns her to Jonah and Marla. Maddie goes through counseling in order to get over her dependence on drugs with which she was sedated.
Yeah, like I feel like it's like if you were to like, if I were to take like one character and like reinvent them in a way that, to bring them back and reintroduce them within the Marvel U, it would be like Maddie Franklin, because I feel like it's just like her history as a character is just like, what a fucking raw deal. Because I feel like, it's like, hey, like how, like let's take like a character who's like not being used and like kind of like run her through the dirt to make a character like seem more like heroic. Like let's do Maddie Franklin. Who fucking cares about her? And I feel like that's just kind of been the history of that character. It's like she shows up in the Loners, which is where I learned about her. She's really cool within that, and then like within a year later, the Grim Hunt happens and she's dead.
Yep. Yeah, I'm reading through her wiki now. Yeah, I know. This is a character like I don't remember at all.
Yeah. How do we get here? Oh yeah, that's how Kraven the Hunter came back. They killed Maddie Franklin, and that's how Kraven the Hunter came back. Yeah, and they even like do the thing within the Hunted where they were like, "Oh hey, like this is my family that brought me back from the dead." Yeah, they're all dead now except for my daughter, who's just like 86th out of the story. So it's just so weird. It's like, and the Grim Hunt's like not a bad story. Like I hate what they did with Maddie Franklin, but like the build up to the Grim Hunt is super good. Because that's where we get like Shed and like the really good, like where like Kirk Connors like eats his son, and like that's where we get the really good Rhino story two-parter.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, Shed. The story where Kirk Connors goes feral and eats his son. He eats the boy.
What?
What? Because I remember reading before I dropped that Marvel that his son inherited his lizard ability.
So he eats his son, and then the clone conspiracy happens. Or like he eats his son, and then his wife dies, and then the clone conspiracy happens. And and they explain it within the books that, because I just like, I sure as shit read clone conspiracies. The Jackal brings back Kirk Connor's son and wife, and they have lizard powers, and like that's how they're reintroduced within like the status quo of Spider-Man. And so there's like an underlying story where Kirk, like within like the first 15 issues of Spider-Man so far, is that Kirk Connors is a teacher at the university. Like, I forget the name of the university, but he's a teacher at the university again, where Peter is like trying to get like his his
doctorate.
Degree. Yeah, because the doctorate he got from previous runs was from Otto Octavius, and it's like null and void because it's found out that he cheated.
Yep. Oh, it's from when Superior Spider-Man?
Yeah, which is like the thing I really like about the current run is that they like bring in Superior, and like that's the reason why he's lost his doctorate, lost his business, and like all these other things. Because essentially, like the reasoning is that he stole from Otto Octavius, and so Kirk Connors is a teacher at like the university, and he's like in his lizard form, like teaching people, which I think is like super funny.
Oh, so it's like having Beast as a teacher.
Yeah. And Kirk Connors' wife and son, like they all live in the sewers together. But Kirk Connors' son like wants to go out and like socialize because he's a teenager. And
So
he's
he's
like,
a
well, like,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Lizard?
yeah. And there's like a point where he's like, well, like, what about like, can I go like, be in school with the mutants? He's like, well, you're not mutant, which is like, it's like at that point, it's like, look, if you're a clone and you're recontextualized into a new body as a lizard, like, at what point are you not a mutant?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess it's also like, damn, like you're still that prejudiced against mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, and that's the whole thing with, was it Krakoa right now? Which is like all this takes place before Krakoa.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I mean, like I am like on issue 16 of The Hunted, and The Hunted takes place over like I believe 8 more issues because it's not only enough that The Hunted Amazing Spider-Man has issues, but then they have like a .1 issue for each part of The Hunted, and the .1 of issue 15 is just basically like a Black Cat story that has kind of really nothing to do with the Amazing Spider-Man story, and it's just like a kind of a waste of time. It's just like it's like if I was reading like, and I'm a fool because if I was reading this like month by month like I should have been, I probably would have dropped this shit. But it's sad because like issue 12, 13, and 14 are like really fun, but it's like they get into like this storyline with the Hunted that is kind of boring and stupid, and like it's like not what I want. And I know that like the Hunted happens, and then there's like a 2 or 3 issue tie-in to Maximum Carnage or wherever that Carnage event was from a couple of years, or like from last year. And then there was like a Venom story that's like a 2-parter, or a 2099 story that's a 2-parter. And it's like the last things I want to read when I'm reading Spider-Man. Like I just want to read Spider-Man. I don't want to read a Carnage story or a 2099 story or whatever. But yeah, that's what I've read. So what else have you read?
Like I said, I've read nothing.
I'm not reading comics at the moment. I'm reading Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King, and I might be digging out my old copies of Pendragon by DJ McHale for purposes. I might be doing something with them. Let's just leave it at that. I'm teasing it now.
Yeah. Still have not finished the James Bond book that I started reading because I'm not motivated. And I'm also like kind of falling asleep, so
we can like close that there.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. All right. Quick round of plugs, and then we could head on out.
Listen to the Cats and Bloodshot commentary. It was fun to record.
Yes, they were very fun. More so than Bloodshot the movie.
Yeah.
You can find me at John JOHN_FN_Seiler SEILER on Twitter and Instagram, where I talk about comics and movies, and like I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I talk a little about that on Twitter. We also, for my work, we recently just released a book that I think is like pretty rad that I've retweeted. So if you want to like read that stuff, it's super great.
Yep. So go check that out. Don't forget to leave 5 stars, leave a review, tell your friends, and we'll catch you guys next time. Adios.
Wash your hands
and stay the hell inside.
And wash your face. Like, I feel like people are like, wash your hands. Like, also wash your face.
You could wash your ass too.
Keep your feet
Wash
off
your
the
whole
grass,
body.
shine your shoes, wipe your face.
All right, later, guys.
Very blessed.
Frank, get
To the true, no way. Cyberforce, no way. Apple pie, no way. Also, you are not Canadian. Power pack 2. Oh, can't say to you. Birds of prey, you're a dude. So I guess I'll join the Great Lakes of